Hey guys, Scott here with Aiden James Customs, and I'm going to show you how we install our 5th Gen camera relocate kit for the 5th Gen 4Runners for you guys that have tires in the back. Alright, so first what we're going to start with is you have your camera kit, which is your harness, OEM connector plugs into the OEM connector in the back of the truck. You have the plugs that go into the camera. So you have the camera, 2 plugs. This plugs into power, and that's your T-tap for this guy, and it comes with the zip ties as well. Some of the tools you'll want is a 10mm sock. You can have it on a ratchet or on a hand ratchet. One of the panel poppers, I use a pick. This is to get off the connector, which is behind the camera, the OEM camera. You can use a long flathead screwdriver. This happens to be a windshield wiper, one of those metal things in the windshield wipers. You can use a long coat hanger. This is going to help you pull this wire through the hatch. One of the pry tools, some tape to tape this on to the wire so you can pull it, and wire cutters to cut your zip ties. Pretty simple. Moving on. Okay, next what you're going to want to do is put your hand up in behind this black piece up in here, and you're going to pull it down. It just comes right out, just clips. It exposes all of this. Then what you want to do is this connector on the left side, you want to disconnect that guy. Okay, now on the inside of the hatch, what you're going to want to do is pop out these 4 covers, and you can just pry them with your finger and pop them off, or you can take one of your pry tools and pop those off. Next, you'll push this down, and if you grab right in the middle, you release that clip and it'll come down. Just leave that hanging. And then you want to remove your back lights in the back hatch by taking a small flathead screwdriver or your plastic pry tool in there. On the left side of both of them, those will come out. And then you'll remove this cover, which is, there's a little slot right here. You grab your flathead screwdriver or plastic pry tool, remove that, remove the 10mm in there. And then on the side, the right side of this hatch, there's this spot right here. There's a little flat spot, I don't know if you can see that, that you can pry this down and pull this hatch straight down. And then the front is kind of hooked in this way. So you'll slide that out through the front. Next, what you want to do is remove the 4 10mm bolts that are behind those holes. That you remove the caps, you put it up in there. Take them out. Alright, now with the back hatch cover off, you see everything's exposed, and around the black mounts for the speakers, you want to remove all these 10mm. Pop these 2 clips out that are at the front and the back on both of them, and pull those down. You can just let them hang with the wires, because all you're doing is just getting behind them for a few minutes so you can run the wire along with this harness, and you'll tie it all back together. This is what it looks like when they're hanging, just for reference. And now what you'll end up doing is gently peeling back a section of this. You only need to go roughly down a little bit here, this front section up to here. So you just need to get up in here, because that's where we're going to connect our camera to. Try not to tear this. A good thing to do is pull the section and take a small razor blade, and as you're pulling, kind of slice the black just so it stays there. Okay, now with the paper pulled down, you're going to access 2 connectors, and you're going for that white one right there with the little shorty wire up, and that is the back of your OEM camera, and that's where you need the long pick to press the clip. And as you're pressing that clip, you're going to be pulling on the harness so that camera wire will pop out. This is the harness you end up removing. You can send them to us, and we will actually pay you $5 for this harness. They're a little bit more at the Toyota dealer, but we only need that connector. So we waste the rest. All right, now we have the back hatch, the spoiler prepared to remove it. And for those of you with ladders, you might put a piece of tape here, because to get this hatch spoiler out, you pull it back towards you, and it's got a clip on each side, just about here as compared to the stoplight, and then there's one on the other side about the same spot. But you'll just want to kind of grab it and pull it back slowly. I usually, with the ladders, like I said, stick a piece of tape here, kind of pull it slowly so you don't, and down, that way you don't smack that ladder and scratch it. Okay, now with the hatch removed, what you're going to end up doing is taking this and popping this off, and in the split right here, take a flathead screwdriver in that split and pop it so you can separate it, because you're going to run a wire basically through here. Okay, now you can see we ran the wire through, clipped it back together. Do note there's an arrow on this, so put that up, run the wire across, about the same length as this. It's a little extra, but about the same length as that, and you'll be okay. And then one zip tie to hold it. Okay, now that we have the wire run through the hatch and through that hole, you can see it's coming down. We've got our metal rod taped to the other end with the OEM connector, it's the white connector. And we're gonna run this right up in that hole and follow this hatch so we can reach it right up here on the left side. Okay, we now have our wire completely run, and I'll follow it, that way you can see it. You can see it comes in down there. It just kind of follows in here. You want to keep it down because your window track is right there, and your window will slide that way. That's why you gotta kind of follow this wire. You can open this up. There's a split in this boot on the left side. You can put your wire in there and just kind of put the boot back down. The speaker cover and everything, or mount, will pinch it down and be okay. Run it right underneath this first main harness, right underneath the second main harness. This is the power that we will end up connecting up into here. I'll show you that in a minute. So still following the wire underneath, coming this way. We'll add some more zip ties here once we get the power all connected. Comes over this way, goes in here. This is the trickier side, because you need to feed it up and over that track. And you'll just follow that wire harness over to the connector. You can see we go behind the connectors, run the zip tie right there, and there it ends into the OEM connector. Okay, so now to connect the red power wire, you're going to pull out this plug that's the back plug, back of the hatch, back plug. You're going to spin it around. Typically it's like this. So you'll spin it around and you'll expose this green wire that's next to the blue, which will be on your right side if you're holding it backwards. Pull your wire harness, or the sleeving up, that way you can expose that wire some more, and you put on your T-tap, and then you'll put your red wire right into that T-tap, and you plug it all back in. This is how it looks when it's plugged in. Now you can put this all back together if you want to add any more zip ties like we will here. You put everything back together, seal this all back up, put the speakers back in, put the panel back on, and close your hatch, because then we'll attach the camera to the back hatch and the spoiler. Okay, now with the spoiler off the truck, you want to clean the bottom of that third brake light. This is upside down right now, that's right side up. So clean the bottom of that third brake light and peel off the backing of the 3M double-sided tape on the back of the bracket for the camera. And then center it, and if you, it's hard to tell on here, but down in there you can see a small bracket, and it'll help you with centering it. It's in between the spoiler and the third brake light. That'll help you with getting it centered. So center, straight, you can kind of follow the lines right there, and mount your camera. And then we will stick this back on the truck. Now go ahead and plug it in. You can plug in your other connector, plug in the two connectors. We send this pre-cut That way you have the grid lines in the camera. If you don't want the grid lines, you can just wire tie these back together, solder them back together, you know, however you want to get it, but just connect these two whites back together. So now that it's all plugged in, we'll actually go and test it. And there you go. Lastly is go ahead and get all your wires tucked up underneath in there so you can put your panel up back up here. Make sure when you put your panel up here you don't pull this wire too tight. Leave a little slack, that way this camera you can adjust it. And then make sure you put all your bolts back and your caps back to secure the spoiler down. Following that, you're done putting this camera kit in. It should take you about 45 minutes for the first time. You'll probably only do one. So it'll be about 45 minutes. Then go and hit the trails.